The ship came down from the sky on a cold morning in December. It was bigger than any building in Geneva. It was silver and smooth, and it made no sound as it landed in the open field outside the city. People all over the world stopped what they were doing and watched their screens. This was the moment everyone had waited for. This was the moment everyone had feared. Humans were not alone in the universe. Daniel Carter stood at the window of the United Nations building and watched the ship settle onto the ground. He was 42 years old. He had spent 20 years in the Marines. He had fought in 3 wars. He had seen things that still woke him up at night. But nothing had prepared him for this. "They want to talk," said the woman beside him. Her name was Lavra Bennett. She was a scientist who studied how living things changed over time. She was smart and calm, and she never showed fear. But Daniel could see her hands shaking just a little. "When we talk," Daniel said. "That is why we are here." The doors of the ship opened 1 hour later. The alien that walked out was not what anyone expected. It was tall and thin, and its body seemed to be made of something like glass or crystal. Light moved inside it like slow fire. It had no face that humans could understand. But somehow, when it looked at the gathered crowd, everyone felt seen. The alien called itself Kethril. It was an ambassador from something called the Galactic Concord. This was a group of many species from many worlds. They had been watching Earth for a very long time. And now they had come with a message. Daniel led the human team that would meet with the alien. Lavra was with him. So was Admiral Christopher Dunn, a man who commanded the New Earth Defense Force. There were also politicians and scientists and translators. Though the alien had its own device that turned its words into English, they met in a large room with a round table. The alien stood on one side. The humans sat on the other. Guards stood at every door, but everyone knew that guns would mean nothing against a species that could cross the stars. "We come in peace," Kethril said. Its voice sounded like wind through bells. "We come with an offer. We come with hope for your future." "We are listening," Daniel said. Kethril made a gesture, and the air above the table changed. Images appeared, floating like ghosts. Daniel saw planets. He saw cities made of light. He saw beings of every shape and size living together in what looked like perfect harmony. "The Galactic Concord is old," Kethril explained. "We have existed for 100,000 of your years. We have brought together 412 species from across the galaxy. We have ended war. We have ended hunger. We have ended suffering. And now we extend our hand to you." Lavra leaned forward. "That is very kind. But why now? You said you have been watching us for a long time." "We watch all young species," Kethril said. "We wait until they are ready. We wait until they can understand what we offer. But in your case, we have come early. We have come because we are worried." "Worried about what?" Admiral Dunn asked. The images in the air changed. Now they showed Earth. They showed hurricanes spinning over oceans. They showed volcanoes throwing fire into the sky. They showed earthquakes breaking cities apart. They showed lions hunting deer. They showed sharks swimming in dark water. They showed viruses under microscopes, tiny killers that could not even be seen. "Your world," Kethril said, and there was something like sadness in its voice, "is classified as a Category 7 death world. This is the highest classification. It means your planet is one of the most dangerous places in the known galaxy." Daniel looked at the images. He looked at the storms and the predators and the disasters. He had lived through many of them. He had the scars to prove it. "We know our world is not easy," he said, "but we have survived." "You have survived so far," Kethril agreed. "But the Concord has studied your planet in great detail. Your gravity is 30% higher than the galactic average. Your atmosphere contains oxygen at levels that are poisonous to most species. Your star puts out radiation that damages living cells. You have predators that can tear a body apart in seconds. You have diseases that spread through the air. You have weather that can destroy entire cities in hours." The alien paused. The images showed more horrors. Tsunamis swallowing coastlines. Wildfires eating forests. Ice ages freezing entire continents. No civilized species should have to live under such conditions, Kethril continued. The Concord has voted. We have decided to offer your species something that has never been offered before. We want to save you. Save us? Lavra asked. Save us how? We have found a new world for you. A safe world. A world where the temperature never changes more than a few degrees. A world where food grows without effort. A world where there are no predators, no diseases, no disasters. A paradise. The images changed again. Now they showed a planet of endless gardens. Soft light. Gentle waters. Everything was calm and beautiful and perfect. We will move your entire species to this new world, Kethril said. We will give you technology to make the journey easy. We will help you build new cities. You will never have to fear again. You will never have to struggle again. You will be safe forever. The room was silent. Daniel looked at Lavara. Lavara looked at Admiral Dunn. The politicians whispered to each other. Everyone was thinking the same thing. They were being offered heaven. They were being offered a life without pain. All they had to do was leave Earth behind. Daniel stood up slowly. He walked to the window and looked out at the world he had known all his life. He saw the mountains in the distance. He saw the clouds moving across the sky. He thought about the ocean he had swam in as a child. He thought about the forest where he had learned to hunt. He thought about the cold winters and the hot summers and all the ways Earth had tried to kill him. And then he thought about all the ways Earth had made him strong. He turned back to face the alien. His face was calm, but there was something in his eyes. Something old. Something hard. Something that had been forged in fire and ice and blood. We thank you for your offer, Daniel said. But I think there has been a misunderstanding. You see Earth as a prison? You see us as prisoners? But that is not what we are. Kethril tilted its head. Then what are you? Daniel smiled. It was not a soft smile. It was the smile of a man who had walked through hell and come out the other side. We are not victims of our world, he said. We are its children. And I think it is time we showed you what that means. The room went quiet after Daniel spoke. The alien ambassador stared at him with eyes that had no pupils. The other humans at the table held their breath. Nobody moved. Nobody knew what would happen next. Lavra Bennett was the first to stand. She walked over to where Daniel was standing and put her hand on the table. She was a scientist. She dealt in facts and evidence. And she was about to give the alien the biggest lesson of its life. Ambassador Kethril, she began, you have shown us images of our world, storms, volcanoes, predators, diseases. You have called these things dangers. You have called them threats. But we call them something else. We call them teachers. The alien made a sound that might have been confusion. Teachers? These things kill you. How can they teach? Admiral Dunn stood up now, too. He was a big man with gray hair and hard eyes. He had spent 40 years in the military. He had seen death up close more times than he could count. But he was still here. He was still standing. That was the point. Let me tell you something about humans, Dunn said. Every single one of us is alive today because our ancestors survived. They survived ice ages that lasted thousands of years. They survived predators with claws and teeth. They survived diseases that wiped out half of entire continents. The weak ones died. The strong ones lived. And they passed their strength down to us. Kethril processed this information. You are saying that the dangers of your world made you stronger through selection. Not just selection, Lavra said. She waved her hand and her own images appeared in the air. These were different from the ones the alien had shown. These showed humans building, humans creating, humans fighting back against a world that wanted them dead. When the ice came, Lavra explained, we did not die. We made fire. We made clothes from animal skins. We built shelters. We hunted the very predators that hunted us. We did not just survive the cold. We conquered it. The images changed. They showed ancient humans working together, hunting in groups, building villages, farming land that was hard and dry. When food was scarce, Lavra continued, we did not starve. We learned to grow our own. We tamed wild animals. We built tools to work the soil. We stored food for bad times. We shared with each other so that the group could survive even when individuals could not. Daniel stepped forward again. He had a small remote in his hand. He clicked it and new images appeared. These were harder to look at. They showed war. They showed destruction. They showed humans killing each other. Yes, Daniel said, we fought each other too. We will not hide from that truth. Humans have done terrible things to other humans. Wars that killed millions. Weapons that could destroy cities in seconds. We have been monsters to each other. He paused and clicked the remote again. Now the images showed something different. They showed peace treaties being signed. They showed enemies shaking hands. They showed cities being rebuilt from ashes. But we also learned, Daniel said, every war taught us something. Every horror made us try harder to be better. We made laws to protect the weak. We created systems to stop the cruel. We are not perfect. We will never be perfect. But we keep trying. That is what Earth taught us. Never give up. Never stop trying. Kethril was silent for a long moment. When it spoke again, its voice was quieter. On my world, there are no predators. There never were. Our planet is gentle. Our temperature is always the same. Food grows everywhere. We have never known struggle. And how long did it take your species to reach the stars? Lavra asked. The alien hesitated. 40,000 of your years. Lavra nodded slowly. It took us less than 200 years to go from our first flying machine to landing on our moon. Less than 400 years to build ships that could leave our solar system. We did in centuries what took you millennia. Do you know why? No, Kethril admitted. We do not understand it. Your technology advances at a speed that terrifies the Concord. Because we had to, Daniel said simply. Every problem was life or death. Every challenge was survive or die. We could not wait for the slow march of time. We had to think faster, work harder, invent better solutions. Our world gave us no choice. A young man at the back of the room stood up. His name was Kevin Morris. He was only 28 years old, but he had already served 2 tours in combat zones. He walked with a slight limp from an injury that had almost killed him 3 years ago. Let me tell you about my grandfather, Kevin said. He was born in a small town during the worst drought in 100 years. His family had no money. They barely had food. He walked 5 miles to school every day in the heat. He worked in the fields after school until dark. He never complained. He never quit. Kevin touched his leg where the old wounds still ached sometimes. When I was hurt, they told me I might never walk again. I thought about my grandfather. I thought about all the people before me who had faced worse and kept going. So I got up. I learned to walk again. It took 2 years. It hurt every single day. But I did it. Because that is what we do. That is what Earth teaches us. Kethril turned to face Kevin. You see pain as a tool? We see pain as information, Kevin replied. It tells us something is wrong, and then we fix it. We do not run from pain. We do not hide from problems. We face them. We solve them. We become stronger. Lavra pulled up more images. These showed human medicine. Surgeries that could replace broken hearts. Drugs that could kill diseases that once meant certain death. Machines that could see inside the body without cutting it open. Our world is full of things that can hurt us, Lavra said. So we became the best healers in the galaxy. Every disease that attacked us became a puzzle to solve. Every injury became a problem to fix. We have learned more about how bodies work than any species the Concord has ever met. Because we had to. Because our world demanded it. Admiral Dunn walked to the window and looked out at the ship that still sat in the field. "Your people sent one ship," he said. "One ambassador. One offer to save us from our dangerous world." He turned back to face the alien. His eyes were hard but not cruel. They were the eyes of a soldier who understood both war and peace. "You do not understand what you are looking at," Dunn said. "You see a species that has been beaten down by a cruel planet, but that is not what we are. We are a species that has been trained by a demanding teacher. Earth did not try to destroy us. Earth prepared us." He gestured at the room full of humans. Scientists, soldiers, politicians, doctors, all of them products of a world that never stopped testing them. "Every single person in this room," Dunn said, "is the result of 100,000 years of training. Our bones are dense because our gravity is heavy. Our immune systems are powerful because we have fought diseases since the beginning. Our minds are sharp because only the clever ones survived. We are not broken by our world. We are forged by it." Daniel walked over to stand beside the Admiral. He looked at the alien ambassador with something like respect. "We thank you for your offer," Daniel said again. "But we do not need to be saved. And to be honest, we think you might have the whole thing backwards." "Backwards?" Kethro asked. "What do you mean?" Daniel smiled. "You came here to rescue us from our training world. But maybe you should be asking us to train you." The Galactic Concord did not believe the humans. Words were easy. Anyone could talk. So they asked for proof. They wanted to see with their own eyes what these strange creatures from the Deathworld could do. 3 weeks after the first meeting, a gathering was held on a space station at the edge of Earth's solar system. The station was neutral ground. It belonged to no one species. 47 different kinds of aliens came to watch. They filled the viewing galleries with their strange bodies and their curious eyes. Daniel Carter led the human team again. But this time he brought different people. He brought the best of humanity. Not the politicians. Not the talkers. He brought the doers. The first demonstration was about the human body. A doctor named Megan Price stood before the alien crowd. She was from Chicago. She had worked in emergency rooms for 15 years. She had saved more lives than she could count. "I am going to show you something that lives inside every human," Megan said. She put up an image of blood cells moving through a vein. "These are our defenders. White blood cells. They hunt and destroy anything that does not belong in our bodies." The aliens watched with interest. Many of them had similar systems. But then Megan showed them something else. "Every human is home to trillions of tiny organisms," she explained. "Bacteria, viruses, fungi, they live on our skin. They live in our stomachs. They live everywhere. We call this our microbiome." A delegate from the Zelfani species made a sound of horror. Its body was like a blob of blue gel. "You are saying that you are infested with parasites at all times?" "Not parasites," Megan corrected. "Partners. Many of these organisms help us. They break down our food. They fight off harmful bacteria. They train our immune systems. We grew up together over millions of years. We need each other." She showed them how human babies were born without these organisms and had to build their collection over time. She showed them how humans who lost their helpful bacteria became sick. She showed them how the human body was not one creature but a community of trillions working together. "Every day," Megan said, "we fight a small war inside ourselves. Harmful organisms try to invade. Our defenses fight them off. If we win, we become stronger. If we lose, we get sick. But even sickness teaches our bodies. The next time that same invader comes, our immune system remembers. It destroys the threat faster and more completely." A Villanthi delegate spoke up. Its crystal body pulsed with concern. "This sounds exhausting. This sounds painful. How do you function with constant internal conflict?" Megan smiled. "We do not even notice most of it. Our bodies handle it automatically. We sleep at night and wake up healthy. It is just normal life for us." The second demonstration was physical. A man named Anthony Reeves walked into the center of the viewing floor. He was an athlete. He had competed in the Olympic Games and won medals in 10 different events. He was 30 years old, and his body looked like it had been carved from stone. First he ran. A track had been set up around the edge of the floor. Anthony began to jog, and then he ran faster and faster. He ran for 1 hour without stopping. When he finished, he was breathing hard, but he was still standing. Still ready for more. How far did he go? A small, fuzzy delegate asked. 20 kilometers, Lover Bennett answered. She was watching from the side. About 12 of your standard units. And that is not even his best distance. Some humans can run 100 kilometers in a day. Some can run for days without stopping to sleep. The aliens murmured among themselves. No species in the Concorde could match this. Most of them needed rest after walking short distances. Next, Anthony lifted weights. He started with heavy bars and added more and more mass until he was lifting 3 times his own body weight. The metal bent slightly under the load but did not break. Neither did Anthony. Finally, they filled a pool with cold water. Very cold. The temperature was just above freezing. Anthony jumped in and swam back and forth. He stayed in the water for 30 minutes. When he came out, his lips were blue and his body was shaking. But he was alive. He was smiling. On my world, Kethril said quietly, that water would kill me in less than 1 minute. Our ancestors lived through ice ages, Lavera explained. Our bodies learned to survive cold. We shiver to generate heat. Our blood moves away from our skin to protect our core. We can endure temperatures that would freeze most species solid. The third demonstration was different. It was not about the body. It was about the mind. A woman named Nicole Walsh walked into the center of the floor. She was thin and her hair was cut short. She moved slowly, carefully. There was pain in her eyes, but also something else. Something hard. Something unbreakable. I am a soldier, Nicole said. I was captured by enemy forces during a war. They held me for 18 months. They wanted information. They tried to get it from me through pain. The room went very quiet. Even the aliens who did not understand human expressions could feel the weight of her words. They hurt me, Nicole continued. They starved me. They kept me alone in the dark. They told me that no one was coming. They told me that I was forgotten. They tried to break my mind the way they tried to break my body. She looked around the room at the watching aliens. But I did not break, she said. I held on. I thought about my family. I thought about my home. I thought about the sky and the ocean and all the things I loved. I built a place in my mind where they could not reach me. And I survived. A delegate with 4 arms raised one of them. How is this possible? How can a mind resist such pressure? Because minds can be trained just like bodies, Nicole answered. Humans have been facing horror since we lived in caves. We developed ways to cope. We tell ourselves stories. We find meaning in suffering. We refuse to give up because giving up means death. She touched a scar on her arm. These marks remind me that I am strong. Every hard thing I have survived has made me harder to kill. That is what Earth teaches us. Pain is temporary. Surrender is forever. Daniel stepped forward. He looked at the gathered aliens with calm eyes. You have seen our bodies, he said. You have seen that we can run and fight and survive cold that would kill you. You have seen our immune systems that are always at war and always learning. You have seen our minds that can endure suffering and come out stronger. He paused and let the words sink in. This is what a death world produces, Daniel said. Not victims, not broken creatures waiting to be saved. It produces survivors, fighters, problem solvers, beings who have been tested in every way and have passed every test. Kethril made a sound that its translator could not fully convert. It was something like wonder mixed with fear. We thought we were offering you salvation, the alien said slowly. But you do not need to be saved. You never did. No, Daniel agreed. We do not. But we are willing to help you. If you want to learn what we know, we will teach you. If you want to become stronger, we will show you how. Earth is not a prison. It is a school. And we are happy to share what we have learned. The demonstration was over. But the conversation was just beginning. The message spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Every species in the Concord heard about the demonstrations. Every leader watched the recordings. Every scientist studied the data. And every one of them came to the same conclusion. They had made a terrible mistake about humanity on the Concord's capital world. A council of leaders gathered in an ancient hall. The ceiling was so high it could not be seen. The floor was made of crystal that showed the stars beneath. This was where the most important decisions were made. This was where the fate of species was decided. "We must reconsider everything," said the Valanthi Grand Elder. Its crystal form was old and cracked in places. It had lived for 3,000 years. It had seen many species join the Concord. But it had never seen anything like humans. Admiral Dunn was there to represent Earth. So was Catherine Holmes, a woman who had spent her life studying history and how nations worked together. Daniel Carter stood beside them, quiet and watchful. The Concord's military leader was a being called Vornax. It looked like a spider made of metal and glass. It had been engineered for war by its creators long ago. But even it seemed uncertain now. "We ran new calculations," Vornax said. "We looked at the data from the demonstrations. We looked at the history files the humans shared with us. The results are troubling." It projected numbers and charts into the air. The aliens in the room studied them with growing worry. "Human soldiers can operate without food for weeks," Vornax continued. "They can march for days with no sleep. They can take damage that would kill most species and keep fighting. Their pain tolerance is far beyond anything in our records." The military leader paused. Its glass eyes turned toward Admiral Dunn. "But that is not the most concerning part," Vornax said. "The most concerning part is their innovation rate. In just 300 of their years, they went from riding animals to flying machines. In 400 years, they built ships that could leave their solar system. They developed new technologies faster than any species we have ever studied." "Because we had to," Dunn said simply. "Slow progress meant death on our world. The ones who could not adapt fast enough did not survive. Only the quick thinkers passed on their knowledge." Catherine Holmes stepped forward. She was a small woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had studied human history for 50 years. She knew every war, every treaty, every rise and fall of every nation. "I want to share something with you," she said. "Something that might help you understand us better. It is our history of working together." She showed them images of ancient human tribes. Small groups of families living together, sharing food and shelter. "We learned very early that alone we were weak," Catherine explained. "A single human was prey for any large animal. But together we were strong. We hunted in groups. We protected each other. We shared knowledge so that one person's discovery became everyone's tool." The images changed. They showed cities growing, farms spreading across land, ships crossing oceans. "We built systems," Catherine continued. "Laws to prevent the strong from hurting the weak. Courts to settle arguments without violence. Markets to trade goods without stealing. Governments to make decisions that affected everyone. Every system was imperfect. Many failed. But each failure taught us something. And we kept building, kept improving." A delegate spoke up. It was a being that looked like a cloud of colored smoke. "We have studied your history. You have fought terrible wars against yourselves. Millions of your own kind killed. How can you call this cooperation?" "Because the wars always ended," Catherine said. "And after each war we built something new. We made rules to prevent the same horror from happening again. The worst wars taught us the biggest lessons. After our second Great War, we created organizations to bring nations together. After we built weapons that could destroy our entire planet, we made treaties to limit them. We are not peaceful by nature. But we have learned to choose peace." Admiral Dunn took over. He showed them images of nuclear weapons, missiles in silos, submarines carrying enough destruction to end all life on Earth. For 70 years, Dunn said, we pointed these weapons at each other. Any day, any moment, we could have destroyed ourselves completely. But we did not. We held back. We talked. We negotiated. We chose to live. The aliens were silent. This was beyond their experience. Their species had evolved on gentle worlds. They had never faced the choice between total destruction and careful restraint. This is perhaps our greatest strength, Dunn continued. We know what power is. We know what it can do. And we know when not to use it. We have walked to the edge of the cliff and chosen not to jump. Kethril spoke up. The ambassador had been quiet through most of the session. Its crystal form pulsed with complex patterns. We classified you as a Category 7 Deathworld species, Kethril said slowly. We thought this meant you were victims, survivors of a cruel environment. We were prepared to feel sorry for you, to help you escape your suffering. It made a gesture that its translator called a sigh. But now we understand, Kethril continued. You are not survivors. You are graduates. Your world did not torture you. It trained you. And you have become something we have never encountered before. Something that frightens many in this room. Daniel Carter spoke for the first time in hours. His voice was calm and steady. You should not be frightened of us, he said. We did not come here to conquer. We did not come to fight. We came because we want to learn and grow and become part of something larger than ourselves. That is what humans do. We reach out. We connect. We build together. He looked around the room at all the strange and wonderful beings gathered there. Yes, we are strong, Daniel admitted. Yes, we can endure things that would break other species. Yes, we adapt and change faster than anyone expected. But strength without purpose is just violence. We learned that lesson too. The hard way. Catherine nodded. Every power we developed, we also learned to control. Every weapon we built, we also built safeguards against. We are not just fighters. We are builders. We are healers. We are teachers. The same drive that made us survive our world also made us want to improve it. The Grand Elder of the Valanthi rose. Its ancient crystal body caught the light in 1,000 colors. The Council must consider this new information, it said. We came here expecting to vote on a rescue mission. Now we must vote on something very different. We must vote on whether to accept humanity as full members of the Galactic Concord. Murmurs spread through the hall. Some aliens seemed excited. Others seemed afraid. Many were simply confused. This is unprecedented, the Grand Elder continued. No species has ever moved from first contact to full membership so quickly. But no species has ever demonstrated what these humans have demonstrated. They are not what we expected. They are something new. It turned its faceless head toward the human delegation. We will vote tomorrow, the Elder said. But I believe I already know the result. Welcome to the galaxy, children of the Deathworld. We have much to learn from each other. The vote took 3 days. 3 days of arguments and debates and long speeches. 3 days of species from across the galaxy trying to decide what to do with the strange creatures from the Deathworld called Earth. Some spoke against humanity joining the Concord. A species called the Krathi were the loudest opponents. They were tall and thin with too many arms and eyes that never blinked. They are dangerous, the Krathi leader declared. They evolved through violence. They survive by killing. They will bring war to our peaceful civilization. They should be contained, not welcome. Others spoke in favor. The Zelthani, despite their initial fear, had come to admire human resilience. The Voranti, a species of hive-minded insects, were fascinated by human individuality and cooperation working together, but it was Kethril who gave the speech that changed minds. The Valanthi ambassador stood in the center of the Great Hall. Its crystal form pulsed with colors no human eye could fully see. It had spent weeks among the humans now. It had walked in their cities. It had eaten their food. It had listened to their stories. I came to Earth expecting to find victims, Catherall began. I expected broken creatures waiting for rescue. I expected simple beings who had somehow survived a world trying to kill them. I was wrong about everything. The hall went silent. Even the Krathi stopped their muttering. They are not gentle, Catherall continued. They are not soft. They carry weapons and scars and memories of terrible things. But they are also kind. They laugh easily. They share food with strangers. They stop to help those who have fallen. They are warriors who have chosen to be peacekeepers. The ambassador moves slowly around the chamber, letting every species see its conviction. Their children play games that simulate combat. They tell stories of heroes who fought monsters. Their very culture is built on overcoming challenges. But those same children also learn to share. Those same stories teach loyalty and sacrifice. Their challenges make them strong, but their choices make them good. Catherall stopped in front of the Krathi delegation. You fear their violence? Catherall said directly. I understand. Their history is bloody. But look closer. Every time they found a new way to destroy, they also found a new way to heal. Every weapon created an equal effort to control it. They invented bombs that could end worlds. And they also invented treaties to ensure those bombs were never used. The ambassador turned to face the entire assembly. The humans have a saying, Catherall continued. They say that those who have never been tested do not know their own strength. We of the Concord have never been truly tested. Our worlds are kind. Our lives are easy. We have forgotten what it means to struggle. A murmur ran through the crowd. Some aliens shifted uncomfortably. They knew it was true. Humanity offers us something precious, Catherall said. Not their weapons or their technology, though those are impressive. They offer us their lessons. They know how to face hardship and survive. They know how to turn suffering into strength. They know how to stand at the edge of destruction and choose a better path. The vote was called that evening. One by one, each species cast their decision. Green light for yes. Red light for no. The counting took hours. When it was done, the Grand Elder announced the result. 389 species voted yes. 23 voted no. Humanity was now part of the Galactic Concord. On Earth, celebrations erupted in every city. People danced in the streets. Fireworks lit up the sky in 100 countries. For the first time in history, humanity knew for certain that they were not alone in the universe. And they had earned their place among the stars? Daniel Carter did not celebrate. He was too busy preparing for what came next. There would be meetings, treaties, endless negotiations. Humanity was about to begin the biggest challenge of its existence. They would have to prove that they deserved the trust the Concord had placed in them, but first, there was a speech to give. Daniel stood on a stage in front of the United Nations building. Billions of people watched on screens around the world. Thousands of alien observers monitored the broadcast from their ships. People of Earth, Daniel began, and friends from across the galaxy. Today marks a new beginning. Today we join a community that spans 1,000 worlds. Today we take our place among the stars. He paused and looked at the faces before him. Human faces. Faces that carried the weight of 100,000 years of struggle. We did not earn this with weapons, Daniel said. We did not earn this with threats. We earned this by being exactly what our world made. Yes, survivors, fighters, problem solvers, beings who look at impossible odds and find a way forward anyway. He thought about all the humans who had come before. The ones who had frozen in ice ages and learned to make fire. The ones who had faced predators and learned to hunt. The ones who had suffered through plagues and learned to heal. All of them had passed something down. All of them had contributed to this moment. Our ancestors are with us today, Daniel continued. Every grandmother who kept her family alive through winter. Every grandfather who taught his children to be brave. Every parent who looked at a dangerous world and decided to raise children anyway. They are all here. In our blood, in our bones, in our spirit. Lavra Bennett stood beside him, tears in her eyes. Kevin Morris was there too, his old injury aching but his heart full. Megan Price and Nicole Walsh and Admiral Dunn and all the others who had shown the galaxy what humans could do. The Concorde called our world a death world, Daniel said. They were right. Earth is dangerous. Earth is hard. Earth will try to kill you in 1,000 different ways. But that is not all Earth is. He smiled, and it was a warm smile now. A proud smile. Earth is a training world, he said. It tests everyone who lives on it. It demands strength and courage and cleverness. It does not accept weakness, but it rewards those who pass its tests with something precious. It gives them the ability to face anything, to survive anything, to overcome anything. He raised his hand toward the sky where alien ships hung like distant stars. Today we share that gift with the galaxy, Daniel said. Not as conquerors, not as threats, but as partners, teachers, friends. We have learned hard lessons through suffering and sacrifice. Now we offer those lessons freely to anyone who wants to learn. His voice grew quieter but no less intense. We are still imperfect, he admitted. We still make mistakes. We still hurt each other and ourselves. The training is not complete. It will never be complete. But that is the point. We are always growing, always changing, always becoming something more than we were yesterday. He looked directly into the cameras that were broadcasting his words to every corner of the planet and beyond. To the people of Earth I say this. Be proud of what we are. Be proud of the world that made us. And be ready for what comes next. Our greatest challenges are still ahead. But we are ready for them. We have been ready for 100,000 years. He took a deep breath and spoke his final words. To the galaxy I say this. You do not need to fear us. You need only to understand us. We are the children of a harsh world. We carry its lessons in everything we do. And now those lessons are yours as well. Class is in session. Let us learn together. The crowd erupted in cheers. On 1,000 worlds, aliens watched in wonder. And somewhere in the vastness of space, the future waited to unfold. This was just the beginning.